Chapter 63. If you love something, set it free. If it doesn't return, it was never meant to be yours. But if it does... Kevan could not take his eyes off the words someone had scribbled on the back of the tram seat in front of him. He read them over and over without understanding why the words got to him, why they scared him as much as they did. He was startled when he noticed that the tram had stopped at Österlyckan, where he was getting off. He stood up, swayed and grabbed a backrest so as not to fall over. The doors were about to close, but he put his cane between them so they opened again. He got off and walked as rapidly as he could towards Agneta's parents' house. Agneta was sitting at a table with a photo album in front of her. Photos were scattered all over the tabletop. "Oh, hi," she smiled happily at him. "You're earlier than I expected, you know. I'm putting all photos in an album. I'll be done soon." With clumsy movements, he sat down in a chair opposite her and looked at the scattered photos. "Look at this one." She handed him a photo. It was a photo of him on his graduation day in the schoolyard. He was dressed in white and covered with flowers and yellow and blue ribbons. Kevan smiled. It was 3 years ago, but felt more like 3 decades. He returned the photo to Agneta. Then his gaze fell on another photo. What he saw took his breath away. It was a photo of Jenny. She smiled happily at the camera with her head tilted. Her green eyes shone with zest for life and her long blonde hair flowed over her shoulders. Happy, confident and full of life. His hand was trembling when he took the photo and looked more closely at it. Agneta was sitting behind Jenny. It looked like they were sitting in a park. She was so incredibly beautiful. He had not seen that expression in her eyes for a long time. Jenny happy. Had it been so long ago that he had forgotten what it looked like? "Which photo is that?" She turned his hand so she could see the photo. She nodded but said nothing. "Peter is the one taking the photo, right?" His voice was shaking so much she could barely hear what he was saying. "It's Peter she's looking at, isn't it?" She looked at him for a long time before she finally nodded. "Yeah, he borrowed my camera. We had a picnic in Slottsskogen the day you graduated." The heavy lump that had formed in his stomach when he had read the text on the tram, no, the lump that had been there ever since he had woken up after the beating and seen the despair in Jenny's eyes, grew larger, so big that he became nauseous. Suddenly he stood up. He took the photo, looked at it one more time, and then tucked it in the breast pocket of his shirt. "I have to go." He grabbed his cane. "But you just arrived. We were going to..." She stood up and put her hand on his arm. "Agneta," just getting the words out of his mouth was a gigantic effort. "I have to go. If I don't do it now, I'll not be able to do it. I just won't." Without any further explanation, he pulled away from her grip and got out of her house.